Hi viewers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Patrick Tauya Matope, and I'm a social worker by profession. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that whenever I post, you'll be the first person to know, and you'll be notified and be able to see what I would have posted and also share with everybody that you would want to share with. So I usually share social work content on this channel. So please don't change that dial. If you can watch until the end as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today. So today, the topic I'm going to be talking about, or I'm going to be exploring about, or I'm going to be sharing a few nuggets as far as I'm aware, is on challenges being faced by local authorities in terms of recruitment and retention of social workers in England, mostly because that's where I'm practicing at the moment. As you know, most social workers, especially those who are working with children and families or we're working with adults, they're employed by local authorities. There are also social workers employed by non-governmental organizations as well as hospitals and other employers, really. But I'm focusing mostly on social workers, or on the challenges that on challenges on recruitment and retention being faced by local authorities mostly, or yes, I would say so. So the first and foremost thing that I'm going to be talking about here is most local authorities obviously face challenges in recruitment and retention, mainly due to the heavy workloads that the social workers deal with. For those social workers who are practicing or who have practiced, you know very well that in some local authorities, the caseloads might be heavy to an extent that, obviously it will be difficult for such local authorities to be able to recruit or even retain social workers. Social work, it's a very small world. People do talk. If they know that you're working for this particular local authority, they'll ask you, how are things there? And the moment they hear that things seem like there is heavy, caseloads in that particular local authority, it will be difficult for that local authority to be able to recruit as well as to retain staff. And if staff members find themselves in a situation where caseloads are, unsustainably heavy, there are chances that people might actually decide to leave or actually decide to go locum, where they will have more control over where they work and how they work and when they work. So that's one point which I need to put out there: heavy workload. So I'm saying heavy caseloads and demanding work can lead to burnout and stress. That's quite important to mention as well, which actually makes it very difficult to retain social workers. That's point number one. Point number two is with regards to the pay and benefits being given to social workers in most local authorities. Though the pay may look to be quite good to a lay person, but considering the work that social workers do, I think most social workers may agree the salary or the pay may not necessarily be what people would want, really. So to an extent, you'll find that some may feel undervalued in terms of the salary and benefits that they are getting compared to the level of responsibility and the stress associated with the work that they do. So, to an extent, this may also lead to challenges in terms of recruiting and retaining social workers within local authorities. Point number three, it could also be linked to training and support services available. Sometimes, if there are no enough training opportunities for social workers or enough support services for the families that they support, it will be difficult for social workers to be working in that kind of an environment as well. So, as you know, continuous professional development is one of the key tenets of being a social worker. It is imperative that social workers be offered opportunities where they are able to actually attend training and be able to refresh their minds and be able to offer the best that they can offer to the families and children that they'll be working with. So this will be one of the most crucial things that local authorities will need to consider when it comes to recruitment and retention of staff members, really, which to an extent is lacking in some of the local authorities across England, really. Point number four is lack of work-life balance. So when you talk of work-life balance, we're talking about obviously, social work. It's not a typical 9 to 5 job where 5 o'clock you clock off, you're done. Sometimes it can extend to there's no way you can leave a vulnerable child out there when you are already out there working with them. So sometimes even if you finish at 5, you may find yourself extending further than that. So actually, I've had colleagues who have clocked off around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, sometimes 10, sometimes 12 o'clock, making sure that the child is safe or is in a safe placement after a day's work and all that. So it's important to mention that the long hours and the pressurized environment that we work in sometimes can impact on individuals' work-life balance. And when that happens, it's not going to be easy for local authorities to retain or to recruit and retain staff in such an environment. Because obviously it leads to high turnover, and sometimes it leads to staff dissatisfaction, which is something which obviously leads to people leaving the job altogether or moving into another area of social work which they deem less demanding, so to speak, really. The other crucial point, which is point number 6, which is second from the last of the point that I'm going to be giving today, is job satisfaction. When there is low job satisfaction, which might be led by limited resources, bureaucratic constraints within the local authorities, budget constraints within the local authorities, working with challenging clients and often disguised compliance and all those kind of things. To an extent, all these things, because remember, social workers are human at the end of the day, all these things is going to have an impact on staff satisfaction. When staff satisfaction surveys are done, all these things will be coming out really. So in terms of job satisfaction, it's not going to be an easy thing to actually grapple when it comes to local authorities trying to recruit and retain staff. So I think it's also important to put it out there to say job satisfaction also is one of the things that may lead to challenges in terms of recruiting and retaining staff. The last but not the least in terms of this, the list I'm going to be talking about today is lack of career progression. Sometimes if social workers find themselves stuck in the same position for a long period of time without any clear progression of where they will be moving from that particular position, there's no clear pathways for them to be moving towards, or clear pathway for their career advancement and all that in terms of promotion within the local authority. If this is lacking, it leads to low morale among the staff members, lack of motivation to stay in the profession in the long term, which might lead them to think otherwise, really, to go agency or even to consider going to non-government organizations and try to work there. So all these things are actually contributing to difficulties that local authorities are finding in terms of recruitment and retention. I know some local authorities are actually trying to recruit from abroad, but there are also challenges that they are facing with regards to that, with regards to issues with the home office and all those kind of things. So those are some of the things that local authorities are trying to do at the moment in terms of recruiting and retaining staff. But you'll find that some of these staff members that would have been recruited, once they get their indefinite leave to remain, they may leave and choose to go agency or stuff like that. So at the end of the day, these are some of the challenges that local authorities are actually, grappling with. So for me, I think in conclusion, I would say such kind of challenges, they do require what I would say a comprehensive approach to how local authorities can actually be able to recruit and retain staff. It includes 1, improving working conditions, 2, increasing the investment in training and support of social workers, especially those who would have come from abroad or those who would be new in the profession, especially ASYEs and those who are rising up the ranks from being a social worker to the senior social worker or to the senior practitioner role or deputy managers or team managers and all that. And also ensuring that there is competitive pay and benefits which are associated with one holding this position. I know some local authorities are actually coming up with innovative ways of retaining staff members, including retention bonuses, giving some allowances outside the normal salaries in order to attract and retain staff members, which is all good and good, in terms of how local authorities can actually retain, staff members. So with this with these nuggets, I hope you have managed to actually grapple or gain something out of it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. Thank you so much.